We're back with Kevin Sypniewski, President and CEO of AssistGuide. So, Kevin, before the break, we were talking about how you got started doing this type of a business. Do you think that you had made all those contacts with the legislature and all these other organizations because of your involvement being on the board of the Hawaii Long-Term Care Association?
Well, it was really that came after. I got involved with the trade groups and the policy folks more as participating in the debate on what was needed for long-term care. So some of the organizations that I'm a member of today came after I really started this, but my relationships with the people and the leaders that really do the amazing work daily in this industry was because I was involved, through my work at Unum.
And then when did you decide to make the leap? Did you start doing this business on the side, part-time? Did you just quit and do it full-time? What happened?
Right. Well, I had the idea. I talked to some people about it. I was not a technical person in my background. I talked to some people in the technical area that knew a heck of a lot about this, and they said, this is very possible, very doable. And then I took it out to some of the folks that I knew in the industry that were doing the work, and showed them the concept, and they said, yeah, they would buy into something like that. And so I tried to hire someone on and have them take the lead. And I would put in some nights and weekends, and they would take the 9 to 5 lead on this. That didn't work out as planned.
Were they an employee or were they a partner? How did you guys do that?
I would say a little bit of an employee, but more of a partner. I mean, they were someone that I knew that was a friend, that was a good salesperson, but it just didn't work out for he and his family at the time. Startups don't have a whole lot of money to pay people. At that time, the corporate entity was somewhat, fuzzy. And you make
startup, right?
Right. You make the mistakes that most people make. And that, had I had a little more direction on the front end, maybe I wouldn't have made. But I think it was an important learning experience. What it allowed me to see that, yeah, there was momentum here. There was a possibility here. And if it was going to happen, I was going to be needed to do it.
How long did that period take?
Probably 6 months, maybe a little longer, but probably I would say in the neighborhood of 6 months.
So were you dying in that 6 months? I mean, you're spending a lot of time on it. Where was it becoming physically?
It was working, but not at the pace it needed to, and it was causing some issues because of you just can't take anything like this on halfway. And so it needed someone to be, full speed ahead on it. Now that, someone could have been someone else, but it just didn't work out that way in this case.
So did you consulted your wife? You decided over a long period of time, or was it just one day you said, this has to happen, I got to quit, and you just quit?
No, as a somewhat experienced married man, I definitely consulted my wife because she
Smart move?
Yeah, she was taking the leap of faith, actually as much or more than I was, because she wasn't in it day to day. She didn't see the traction. She's more of a here and now person, not a fantasy land person.
And the money's not exactly rolling in the first 6 months, right?
Yeah, no. The money's not rolling in for a long, long time after you start a business, and it takes basically all of your money and all of your time, which leaves very little for family. And at that time, we didn't have a full family. I didn't have kids at that time. It was just my wife and I. But it really changed our life dramatically.
So what made you guys decide to go the route of a full-time entrepreneur where you knew it was going to cause you, pain at home and in other areas, instead of just saying forget it and stay in a long-term care industry as a salesperson?
That's an interesting question. I think it was the opportunity to create something for our own, to create to make a bigger difference. You know, what I was doing at the time, while I believe I was good at it, there were other people that could do that. I saw this as something that this is either going to happen or not going to happen with me. And I think that was one of the drivers, being able to make a difference bigger than I could, you know, doing my previous job. And I think also, you know, restless feet is kind of the thing. If I had done that job, I had been doing that for 10 years, and, you know, people, well, I don't want to say getting bored, because it wasn't bored, but you want a thirst for more, or you want more of a challenge, you want the next step. And within that company, the next step would have been leaving Hawaii. And I was not ready to do that at that time. And I also didn't want to just do, you know, the same thing in a different location. So I was ready for the next step, and I think it was, this was important to me to get something done and make a big difference that I didn't see someone else doing at the time.
So this brings us to another point. Sometimes when we listen to these lecturers coming in from the mainland saying, in order for you to make it big, you need to leave Hawaii. Your company needs to pick up and go, and you can't do it here. You know, what's your take on that? Because obviously you guys are still here, and you travel a lot, which can't, you know, it's time consuming. It's not as easy if you were maybe in Arizona or West Coast, LA. You know, what keeps you here? What's your view on something like that?
Well, it really depends on the industry. I don't think there's a chance in heck I could have launched this anywhere else. Hawaii is, in what I was doing, and I think for a lot of people, is one of the best proving grounds or trial markets in the world, because you have an incredibly diverse culture of people. You have a real business epicenter here. You have a government epicenter here. You have a university here that we've done a lot of partnering with. You can go from, you know, the legislature over to the Bishop Street boardrooms, over to the university, you know, all in one day. There's not a whole lot of cities where you can do that, and where it's still small enough that, you know, you can meet the people you need to meet. And so I think that was a great opportunity for us.